all things must come to an end, gods and goddesses included. We have seen the collapse of many mythologies, such as Ragnarok in Norse. But what happened to Greek mythology? It wasn't wiped out by Kratos for sure. Or was it? Let's find out. The ages of mankind is a major theme in Greek mythology that dates back at least to the time of the 7th century poet Hesiod. This is the idea that mankind has progressed through many stages from its creation. Humanity enjoyed a simple, serene, and innocent life in the Golden Age. Although, in a youthful state, people were more aggressive and warlike throughout the Silver Age. Yet they remained pure and virtuous in their interactions with one another. People of the Bronze Age, on the other hand, became selfish, ruthless, and untrustworthy, concerned with personal wealth and caring little for the love of family or basic decency. As humanity's behavior deteriorated, Zeus, king of the gods, became concerned about their rising depravity and lawlessness. The final straw that made Zeus lose all patience with the degenerate ways of the generation of the Iron Age was the brutish and insolent behavior of Lycaon, king of Arcadia, in the Greek Peloponnese. Appalled by rumors of this generation's heinous crimes, Zeus descended from Mount Olympus and disguised himself as a poor mortal, traveling around Greece to check for himself whether things truly were so awful. Zeus eventually made his way to Lycaon's Arcadian kingdom after witnessing several sights that confirmed his greatest fears. When Zeus arrived at his banquet hall, he revealed his name to Lycaon's common people, who responded with adoration. King Lycaon, on the other hand, was arrogant and disrespectful. Lycaon violated the laws of hospitality and appropriate human behavior to the utmost degree possible in order to test the reality of the traveler's claim to be the ruler of the gods. He intended to assassinate his visitor in his sleep, but he decided to add insult to injury by fooling the claimed deity into eating human flesh at his table first. Lycaon slaughtered one of his prisoners and offered the flesh to Zeus in a pot after murdering him. If Zeus ate it unknowingly, as he suspected, it would corrupt him and reveal he was no god. Zeus, of course, was well aware of what Lycaon had done. Enraged, he thunderbolted Lycaon's hall and followed the terror-stricken king into the mountain wastelands, where he changed him into a howling wolf. Zeus was not happy with his punishment for the impious Lycaon. When he returned to Mount Olympus, Zeus convened a meeting of all the Olympian deities and said that, given the depravity of mankind he had observed, he had no other option than to annihilate the world. While none of the other gods dared to question Zeus's choice, they did voice their grief that there would no longer be mankind to give them sacrifice. Zeus reassured them that a new world would be created via miraculous ways to repopulate the earth. Zeus's first thought was to simply wipe out humankind by blasting them with his thunderbolts, but then he feared that the earth and the very heavens might catch fire. Instead, he decided that all the peoples of the world must drown. He shut up all the winds and prevented them from blowing, except for the south wind, which drove dark clouds swollen with rain across the sky, releasing a huge downpour. Iris, a messenger of the gods, who takes the appearance of a rainbow, worked hard to keep the clouds wet. All of the farmers' crops in the field were destroyed by the relentless rain. Not quite satisfied, Zeus sent his brother, the sea god Poseidon, to his rescue. He gathered all of his rivers and ordered that their banks breach and overflow. The waves surged and swallowed away the farmland, villages, and towns. The majority of people and animals were carried away and drowned. Birds flew about looking for land before collapsing into the water from fatigue. Dolphins swam amid the branches of massive trees, while seals frolicked in pastures where goats formerly grazed. Sea nymphs marveled as they explored the drowned cities. The entire world became one massive sea with no shore. But this wasn't the end. Prometheus, one of the last Titan gods who often took sides with humanity, had a son, Deucalion. Pyrrha, his wife, was his cousin. She was the daughter of Prometheus's brother, Epimetheus, and Pandora, the first woman. Deucalion was the most God-fearing and moral of men, while Pyrrha was the most religious and honest of women. On the suggestion of Prometheus, the couple took refuge from the flood in a massive chest and were thrown around on the waves for 9 days and nights. Their chest eventually came to rest on the high pinnacle of Mount Parnassus, breaking the surface of the waters. As soon as they emerged from the chest, the devoted couple paid tribute to the local nymphs and forest gods, as well as Themis, the Titan goddess of justice and prophecy before Apollo took control. Zeus felt his job was done when he realized that his God-fearing couple were the last 2 individuals on Earth. He let the north wind blast the vast rain clouds from the sky, while the sea god blew on his conch shell, summoning all the rivers to their banks. The floods gradually withdrew, revealing dry land with seaweed still clinging to the top limbs of the trees. When Deucalion and Pyrrha saw that the water had receded, they realized they were the only two human beings still alive. They grieved their lonely destiny, imagining what it would be like if they didn't have each other. They approached the oracle of Themis, made a sacrifice of clean water from a nearby stream, and prostrated themselves on the steps of her temple, pleading with her to save them and the drowned and dead planet they had been left with. Taking pity on them, the goddess offered an oracle couched in mysterious language. Walk away from the temple with veiled heads and your robes loosened. As you go, throw behind you the bones of your mother. The couple stood in frightened silence for a while until Pyrrha burst out, saying she was terribly sorry, but she could never do such a cruel thing as degrading her mother's bones. In great confusion, they both continued to ponder over the goddess's remarks. Deucalion deduced that what she actually meant by the bones of her mother were the stones of their great Mother Earth. Pyrrha was unsure, but they decided that there was no harm in giving it a go. Gathering up stones, the two of them did as Themis said, walking away with their hands covered in reverence and casting the stones behind them. When they stopped for a moment and looked around, they beheld an incredible sight. The falling stones were changing shape before their eyes. First like rough-hewn scriptures, and then melting into human form. All the stones that Deucalion flung became males, whereas all the stones that Pyrrha threw became women, and so the current race of humans, hardy and tough as stone, came to life. Meanwhile, the ground, saturated with moisture and warming by the rising sun, spontaneously developed new life. Some creatures that had existed before, and others new. When Zeus and the other Olympian gods saw this, they were enraged as well as disappointed. They realized that they should have killed the couple, because if they really were so devoted to the gods, they wouldn't try to bring back a species that was destroyed by their god 9 days ago. The gods decided that they were done dealing with humanity and didn't want to control them anymore and leave them to their miserable fate. They all decided to vanish into the cosmos to find new worlds to conquer and reside in. And that is how the Greek myths ended. And so did this video.